Let us review forceful practice instructions and then meditate like a Jedi. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, including meditation instructions. If we follow popular meditation instructions and actively focus and actively analyze, we will so exhaust our dorsolateral and medial prefrontal cortex that we will begin presenting with symptoms of depression, no less trigger our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression. Fortunately, neither the amygdala nor the prefrontal cortex comprises the entirety of our central nervous system. Consider, if you will, our spinal cord. Its fancy name is the autonomic nervous system. When we cooperate with this autonomic nervous system, our amygdala is calmed, and our anterior cingulate gyrus is gently stimulated, which is fortunate, because it functions as not only as the hub of our mirror neurons, but the seat of empathy itself. The first facet of our autonomic nervous system is the sympathetic nervous system. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we access the middle bit of our spinal cord, known as the sympathetic nervous system. It is evolved to help us notice in a very special way. It is evolved to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. It is evolved to help us to notice whatever pierces our sphere of awareness, be it external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. But what are we to do with that which we have noticed? Every time we exhale, we automatically access the tippy top of our spinal cord and the very bottom of our spinal cord, known as our sympathetic nervous system, the second facet of our autonomic nervous system. This bad boy has evolved to help us relax to such a degree that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, could feel non-graspable to the hand. That's all well and good, but how are we to transcend our habit of living in constant competition against our autonomic nervous system? How at last do we cooperate with it vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly? Simple. All we got to do is silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this every time we feel our chest swell with breath, as well as silently and mentally recite the verb rest each time we feel our chest subtly sink as gently we exhale. Having completed these instructions, let's take a moment to shift gears. It is Generale Organa Saturday mid-morning. At least it is here in Southern California. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after about 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Semde Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests, as well as my ADHD hyperfocus, to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Good morning to those of you who are joining me on the Clock app. Learning something new can fill us with anxiety, and that anxiety can make us, could concern us. That when we open our eyes, that after having sat to meditate, once we open our eyes, we could see that a decade has passed, like some sort of a contemplative Rip Van Winkle. A great workaround around this is to practice a variation of Bengali crease counting, where we count inhalations, sets of inhalations, and gather collections of sets of inhalations. Let us begin thusly. We could touch the tip of our left thumb to the first set of creases of the bottom of our left index finger to keep track of our first set of 16 inhalations. We can now rest this left hand, palms up, in our lap. Every time we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, we could advance the tip of our right thumb across the creases and tips of our 4 fingers, beginning with the little one. Let's practice together right now. Having run out of places to count on our right hand, we can now advance our left thumb up to the second set of creases on its little finger. Thus, we now know how to count multiple sets, 16 sets on our left hand, in addition to 16 inhalations on our right hand. It takes a little more than a minute to count 16 inhalations on our right hand. It takes a little bit more than 20 minutes to count 16 sets of 16 inhalations on our left hand. Most of us would like to cultivate the skill to meditate for more than 20 minutes. So what we could do is gather multiple collections of 16 sets of 16 inhalations, and we can count those collections on our knuckles. Upon the tip of our left middle finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, thus keeping track of our first collection of 16 sets of 16 inhalations. When we come to our second collection, we could slide our right middle finger so that its middle knuckle comes to rest upon the tip of our left middle finger. And when we come, or if we come to our third collection of 16 sets of 16 inhalations, again we could slide our right middle finger so that its highest, smallest knuckle could come to rest on the tip of our left middle finger, all the while keeping our hands palms up in our lap. The antidote to feeling overwhelmed is simply repetition. Come meditate with me once every 12 hours or so, and within a week or two you could master this system. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist or Taoist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I do check for questions about every 10 minutes or so. Our job is not to actively focus upon our breath. Au contraire, our job is to treat our breath the way a piano student treats a metronome. When we notice our body breathing in, we silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, thus cooperating with our neurology to help us notice. When we feel our chest begin to exhale, we silently and mentally recite the verb this to better cooperate with the part of our autonomic nervous system that relaxes and releases. And to such a degree that which we experienced during our previous inhalation could feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, less solid. At least until our next inhalation when the cycle begins afresh. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever hate or love we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of just mental energy. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 3 1/3 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's 3rd session of Meditating Like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.